Welcome back, everybody. My name is Taylor Martin. This is the best damn EDC, and it's time for another EDC Weekly. And this one, I actually asked you guys a few weeks ago for your toughest carries, and a few setbacks and delays later, here we are. And I kind of like this because I picked the submissions a long time ago, and they're not fresh on my mind. I don't even remember what I picked, so it's kind of interesting, much more interesting for me, in fact, when I don't know what's next, when I swipe to the next photo and it's a total surprise. So I really like that aspect, which is kind of cool. I'm kind of excited to not remember what I picked. But with that said, this is the EDC Weekly. These are your toughest carries, and let's do the damn thing. Since this is the toughest carry, I figured I would show you what my tough carry is today. Typically, in a hard use or tough carry, I would include the Umnumzan. It's one of my favorite hard use knives. It's just a really beefy, really tough knife. Love this thing to death. But today, I had a new delivery. It's a new knife day, and I figured I would throw this in the holster. The knife in my pocket today, is the Vero Engineering Isotope with the marbled carbon fiber inlay and hand satin finish. Awesome, awesome knife. It is a finger guillotine. If you can get your finger out of the way in time, maybe you won't cut it. It's a really sweet knife, probably my favorite knife from Vero Engineering. So really excited to have this one in the carry today. The pin that I have is the Big Idea Design TI Click EDC. This is one that I actually customized a long time ago. As you can see, there's a Topo clip on it, and then the flashlight is the Okluma DC0. All very, very tough, hard use stuff that will last for a lifetime. And then I have it all inside this Tale of Knives belt holster. This is, I believe, a tuxedo with a clip. And then on the wrist, I do not have my typical Damasco, which is what I would usually carry for this like hard use outdoor work day. It'd be either that or the marathon. But lately I've been tracking my fitness and steps and health, and this has been what's on my wrist. This is the Garmin Fenix 6 Pro with a little fake rubber leather strap. So that's my carry for today, and what I would consider a fairly hard use, heavy duty carry. Typically, as I said, there would be an Umnumzan in the carry instead of the Isotope, but the Isotope is new, so it's in the carry today. And because I know you guys are gonna ask what's in the glass, let's get to the next point and thank our sponsor for this video, Scotch Malt Whiskey Society. If you're not familiar with Scotch Malt Whiskey Society, they are the world's largest whiskey club. They're based out of Edinburgh, Scotland, and they have private member rooms in London, Edinburgh, and Glasgow. They're a members-only independent bottler that releases single cask whiskeys from over 140 distilleries around the world, and they don't release what distillery each whiskey is from because they want you to focus more on the flavor of the whiskey than who it's from. So what they do instead is they give each whiskey a fun name, like the glow of a beach bonfire, or fluttering fan waft of fruit, or a vintage dinner suit, like these three that they sent me, which are all very, very delicious. Every whiskey they release is single cask or cask strength. They're non-chill filtered and zero color additives, so it's whiskey in its truest form, but they also release cask strength gin, rum, and cognac. A couple of times each month they release what they call their outturn, which is up to 20 new single cask selections for members only, and that happens on the first Tuesday of every month. Orders can be placed online at their website or by calling the number in the description down below, and a new membership is $99 for the first year, $70 to renew. And when you're signing up for a new membership, you can put Best Damn EDC in your order notes, and Scotch Malt Whiskey Society will send you a $50 gift card by email, which you can use towards any bottle in the shop. So once again, thank you Scotch Malt Whiskey Society for sponsoring this video. And to answer the question of what's in the glass, I have a fluttering fan waft of fruit. This was actually one of my very first, not my first, but one of my first Highland scotches. And this is very, very different, very fruity, very light and floral. This is delicious, and I am digging it. Okay, let's get to these tough carries. The very first submission this week comes from Evan, or Traditional_EDC over on Instagram. I chose this one for a number of reasons. One, I love the knife. I have that knife, and this looks very much like a carry that I would have. It genuinely does. The watch that you see here is a Hamilton Khaki King Auto with a crown and buckle NATO strap. The knife next to that is a Chris Reeve large Sabenza with micarta inlay. That is a Sabenza 31, by the way. Tactile turn bolt action short in titanium. The flashlight is an Okluma DC0, also in titanium. And then the wallet here is a Redeemed Creations slim wallet. And then on top of that is a domino from Lucas or Northeast Oddities over on Instagram. So the one thing, just quick side note, one thing about scotch, I don't get it with bourbon nearly as bad, but when I drink scotch on these videos, I get tongue-tied so bad. And I think it's because it starts to numb my tongue just very quickly. The roof of my mouth and my tongue get numbed and I just can't say words. Not that I can speak well to begin with, but like, when I drink scotch, it's 10 times worse. Anyway, Evan says, the Hamilton I bought for myself as a gift before I got married. I've always had smartwatches and went back to something a little more traditional. The Sabenza is new. I recently sold my small and upgraded to the large one, and so far I love it. The tactile turn will soon be replaced by a Saga, which should be arriving soon. The Okluma DC0, that's all that needs to be said. I love the slim leather wallet made by Redeemed Creations. He does great work, and the domino was gifted to me as a wedding gift. Lucas is a great guy, and I love being able to support EDC makers in the community. Looking for a nice secondary blade such as a Northwoods or Great Eastern Cutlery. Well, if money is not an issue, I would highly recommend trying to get your hands on a Birdvis or Ridian. I know I'm saying that because I have both of those. I really love the Ridian that I have. Great Eastern Cutlery are much easier to come by, I would argue, and much more abundant, even though they go quickly at drops. You can find them on secondary pretty easily. Your Northwoods is going to be much more difficult to find than a standard like Titty-Ute Great Eastern Cutlery knife. But yeah, if you can get on Ridian books, and there's another guy, it made me laugh, but there's a guy in the Discord server, not in the server, but a guy that people were talking about in the Discord server that I came across yesterday. His name is Ricky Bob, and apparently he makes really good slip joints for a good price. And it's just kind of a good, like the first thing, of course, you're thinking it too.
I want to go fast.
It's just right there. It's low-hanging fruit, but Ricky Bob apparently makes really good slip joints. Those Hamilton watches are workhorses, man. They're really good watches, and there's not much here that I would not say is like heirloom quality lifetime gear. Like all of this is really good stuff. Thank you for sharing, Evan. The next submission comes from Joshua LaTendresse, and he did include a pronunciation guide in his submission, but I don't know if it's LaTendresse or LaTendresse. Pronunciation guides don't really help that much. Just saying. You can find him over on Instagram and in the Discord as Stormy the Ninja. And this is definitely what I had in mind when I said like tooly tough carry. First up, we have a Medford Praetorian G Tanto with an S35 VN blade. The watch that you see here is a big watch. It's a big boy. The Marathon Caesar. That is a 46mm chronograph search and rescue. The light that you see here is the Olight Warrior Mini in titanium. He also has a Sinkovich designed titanium clip action tool pin. And then finally, the RamaWorks Inventory 2 solid titanium wallet. I'm sure I slaughtered half of what I said there. Josh says, this is my go-to when I need no nonsense gear that never gives up, and especially useful in the winter where I live in the Sierra Nevada mountains. The Medford Praetorian still makes me smirk when it clanks open. The heavy-duty jimping digs right into my giant gloved hand and matches the industrial design of the Marathon dive bezel perfectly. The trio of titanium pals around the carry and Olight Warrior Mini handles lighting tasks during pitch black winter nights here at Lake Tahoe. The chunky Sinkovich rides comfortably anywhere thanks to its short design, and the solid titanium RamaWorks wallet is ingeniously simple and tough. Yeah, so that Caesar is a tank of a watch. I think it might be a little too big. I say that, and I think this is like a 47mm I have, but those marathons tend to wear a little smaller than you would think, but 46 is still a chunk, and those things are thick and no tapering to them. They're just big, chunky watches. I love my Marathon, but the Caesar is a beast of a watch. Anyway, really tough carry. Thank you for sharing, Josh, and thank you for being part of the community. Next up, we have a submission from Wilkhyne. I don't know, or you can find him online at EDC_sector. So in this photo, we have the Big Idea Design Pocket Pro in copper. Next to that is a Brassworks pry bar. The knife that you see in the center of the photo is the Hinderer XM18 in a battlefield pickup finish. Next to that is the Olight i3T EOS, and then the watch that you see in the top right is the Boulder Venture watch. He says, hi, I'm currently looking for a watch within the $200 to $600 range, something that looks like a vintage and automatic. There's a lot. there's a whole lot in that range. That is a wide open range. Tons and tons and tons of vintage homages out right now. If you want something kind of divey looking, Seiko. Just Seiko. They're rock solid. Everybody loves them for a reason, and they're abundant. And you get, I think, a pretty good value for what your money is. If you want something maybe a little nicer with sapphire, you can either customize a Seiko or you can go the micro brand route, which not everybody loves, but I'm a fan of micro brands. A lot of them have pretty good value for what you're looking at. If you want to go the micro brand route, there is Zelos, there's Laurier, which I wouldn't say is very tooly. I don't know if that's what you're looking for, but Laurier has really vintage inspired watches. Baltic, they have really good watches that are very vintage inspired. A lot of micro brands focus on that vintage inspiration. He also says, this set of gear has produced an awesome patina through the times. I have carried them. The knife, though I got it brand new, is already looking beat up. I think that's how it came. It's a battlefield pickup. He has said, looking forward to more years of carrying this gear. Very cool. And aside from the pry bar, which I would argue is not very tough because it's brass, and brass doesn't actually make a good pry bar or a bottle opener. It works, but it gets marred up very easily. I would say this is a pretty tough carry. Thank you for sharing and being part of the community. Next up, we have, okay, it's almost like cheating because this looks, again, like one of my carries, although I don't carry a multi-tool. Anyway, this comes from Mark, or Patina EDC, over on Instagram. And there actually were a few comments, I think either on this or somebody sent it to me in a DM. I can't remember, but somebody said they thought this was my photo. It's not, it's Mark's, but it's very much like something I would carry. Anyway, first up in the photo on the far left is the Faro EDC Faro bottle opener. He also has a Big Idea Design Pocket Pro in titanium. The Leatherman Charge TTI is his multi-tool of choice. And next to that is the Chris Reeve Tanto Umnum Zahn. The flashlight you see in the photo is the Olight Warrior Mini in titanium. Then he has the Vero Engineering Fulcrum in titanium, as well as the Big Idea Design TPT slide. In the top left of the photo is the Tale of Knives clipped holster for multi-tool pin and the light. And then to the right of that is his wallet, which is the Redeem Creations Carry Commission Collaboration Front Pocket Slim Wallet. That is the same one I'm carrying out. They're actually going to be restocked on Carry Commission very, very soon. And then finally, to the top right of the photo is the Novel Carry bandana. Mark says, this is my preferred titanium carry for those harder use days. Every item is carefully collected and they have proven themselves time and time again. In addition to being titanium themed, there's also a community theme going on. Jeremy and Megs from Tale of Knives are some of my all-time favorite people, and I would put money on them being some of the most hardworking people in the EDC community. You guys rock. Agreed, they're really good people. They just sent me just a whole package of all their new stuff, and good people. Look, I actually have this on my waist today. This is the little holster for my AirPods, which seems a little dumb, but I've been wearing shorts lately. And let's be honest, slant pockets suck, they're the devil. I've almost lost my AirPods Pro like 4 times this week until I put that on my belt. Hard to argue with something that works. TJ at Faro EDC is a stand-up guy who makes awesome EDC gear. The Faro is so cool and holds a special place in my collection. The Fulcrum is a great pry bar, and Joseph at Vero Engineering really puts all of himself into incredible designs. The wallet is awesome and fits everything I need and nothing I don't. Jonathan makes great stuff, and the bearded fellow who commissioned it isn't half bad either. Thanks, Mark. For the community, by the community, Novel Carry made a bandana to show the appreciation of the community. The community appreciates the heck out of you guys back. Although I don't have any first-hand interactions with the rest of the makers of the gear, it's safe to say that Chris Reeve, Leatherman, Olight, and Big Idea Design are all staples in the community for a reason. Kick-ass gear that's been put through its paces. Thanks to all the makers and to Taylor for helping spread the word. Love your work, man. Thanks, Mark. And yeah, this is a great photo. It's all solid quality, hard use gear. You'd be hard pressed to find a tougher carry than a Charge TTI and an Umnum Zahn as like the main workhorses of your carry. You'd be really hard pressed. So kudos there. Thank you for sharing, Mark, and thank you for being part of the community. The next submission comes from Glen Lee. You can find him over on Instagram at glenl.edc. And this one, I thought the photo was interesting and cool, put together well, and it's got some pretty tough gear in it. So the first thing in the back of the photo is the Olight Baton 3 with a wireless charger in limited edition blue. He also has a Leatherman Charge TTI in anodized blue, the Titanium Faro by Faro EDC. He also has a Benchmade Bug Out 535 with rock scale design titanium scales, a titanium backspacer and titanium screws with Flytanium thumb studs, MXG gear titanium deep carry pocket clip. Like, that thing is kitted out. In the top right of the photo, clipped to the Leatherman, you have the Big Idea Design mini click pin, and then finally in the center of the photo is the Seiko 5 SNZ-G11. Glenn says, I'm looking for a good front pocket wallet to match my blue-gray theme that can accommodate at least 6 cards and some cash. You could get a titanium ridge, which would fit okay. Maybe I don't know if you can get like different colored elastic bands for those. I'm not sure. You could get a Giltech, the rapid access wallet. I really like that. You can get it in aluminum and blue, or get a titanium one and anodize it blue. And there is a money clip add-on for that. Glenn also says, Seiko SNZ-G11 is my first Seiko watch, and it's the first watch I bought since I gave up on smartwatches. My titanium bug-out 535 is my most carried knife, and it's also the only one that truly modded to replace almost everything to titanium. I used to open boxes with my knife until I started carrying a utility knife, which I realized you did not mention in the description here. It's not mentioned at all, but that is, dang it, I should know what this is. They reached out to me and asked if I wanted to check one of those out, but it's not on here. Following your advice, Taylor, I started carrying a utility knife. The one I'm using now is by Exceed Designs, and it's a frame lock flipper utility knife. Okay, there, I just needed to keep reading. It's way easier to use than a knife for opening boxes and packages. Don't you just hate it when sticky tape gets on the knife's blade? I always carry my Leatherman with me since you'll never know when you will need some good pliers. Plus, it's a good backup knife since it uses S30V steel as well. I do rotate my pens a lot, but I started carrying the Big Idea Design Mini Click since I received it this month from their Kickstarter campaign. Also backed the Bit Bar inline. This is a really cool carry. I love how matchy-matchy it is. A lot of people think that's really dumb when you match your carry. I think it's fine. I think it's cool. It's fun, but this is a really, really solid, tough carry. So thank you for sharing, Glenn. And thank you for being part of the community. The 6th and final submission for this video comes from Gerard, or you can find him over on Instagram at Gerardy What? Yep, not gonna try that. We have in the top left of this photo, we have some bourbon, obviously. And then below that is the Breitling Avenger GMT. Next to that is the Spyderco Para 3. He has Flytanium copper scales on that. It looks like he also has maybe some Flytanium or just aftermarket screws in there. He has the Fox leather card holder, that's FOCX. He also has a copper key bar, and then finally he has the Victorinox Classic XD with copper scales. There are also some beads on these things, but he doesn't list them out. He says he's looking for a copper pin and a handkerchief that match his EDC. There are tons of copper pins to match. There's Mini Mig, there's the Big Idea Design. All of their pins now come in copper, Tactile Turn, Urban Survival Gear. There's so many copper pins now. And then handkerchief. Well, I don't know about handkerchiefs. There's a million handkerchief makers now. Rue from the Discord server, or Atlas Creation. There's several hank makers in the Discord server, so I recommend you checking that out. He says, using my knife daily, opening boxes and cutting stuff. Oh, okay. Thanks for the very in-depth description of how you use your stuff. Very cool, and that's a pretty tough watch there. The Breitling Avenger is just a beefcake of a watch. And key bar, also just a overbuilt key organizer. I love key bars. I think they're great. They're just too much for me now because I don't really have a whole lot of keys. But really cool carry. Thank you for sharing. So that's it for the submissions. I want to hear from you guys. What are your toughest pieces of gear? Your toughest knife, watch, flashlight, whatever it may be. When you know that you're going to be doing some really hard work, what is the gear that you carry with you? Also, I want to know what you guys want to see next. I have so many different versions of the EDC Weekly, and I just want to know what you guys want to see. Do you want to see something dedicated to a specific brand of knife? Do you want to see modded carries? What do you want to see? I just want to hear from you guys. Let me know in the comments down below what you want to see on the EDC Weekly next. That's it, guys. If you enjoyed this and found it helpful, be sure to hit that thumbs up button down below and subscribe to see more stuff like this in the future, and hit the notification bell so you're notified when I upload new videos. If you want to support what I'm doing here, everything you saw in this video will be linked down below. Many of those, if not all of them, are affiliate links, so I do get a little bit of a kickback if you click those links and purchase anything. You can also go to patreon.com/bestdamnedc if you want to support there, or carrycommission.com, where you can buy gear, merch, just like this shirt and this hat. You can buy that stuff directly from me. That is one of the best ways you can support what I'm doing. Also, be sure to follow us around the web. You can find us in most places at bestdamnedc. With that said, and until next time, carry on.